I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that shoplifting is up since before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But what is surprising is that you're starting to see shoplifting now in areas that before really didn't have much reported shoplifting at all, like in the single digits. And so at this point, what these researchers say is we don't know why this is happening. We don't know what the motivation is, but we want to look and let lawmakers know where it's a problem.
Okay.
So researchers looked at reported shoplifting in both Chicago and Los Angeles. Prior to the pandemic, the shoplifting rate in LA was less than half of what it was in Chicago. But by the end of 2023, we only trailed behind the Windy City by less than 20%. The city of Westchester near LAX has a population of just over 48,000 people. And before the pandemic, it had reported just 6 shoplifting incidents in 2018. 5 years later, in 2023, that number jumped to 347, a more than 5,000% increase, according to data compiled by the Council on Criminal Justice. Researchers compared levels of reported shoplifting in both Chicago and Los Angeles.
After the pandemic, we found 2 things. We found that places that used to have a lot of shoplifting before COVID had a lot of shoplifting again. But for both cities, we found places that didn't used to have much shoplifting or were kind of average, normal levels of shoplifting. And then after COVID, these places had a lot of shoplifting.
Just take a look at these 2 maps. This shows the concentration of shoplifting reports to law enforcement in 2018, with hotspots in the West San Fernando Valley and the downtown area. But if we look at 2023, the map lights up with concentrated areas of reported shoplifting spreading to neighborhoods like Panorama City and Van Nuys, Westwood, Century City, and West LA, Westchester, Mid-Wilshire, and Hancock Park, and South Central LA, including Exposition Park, Adams Normandy, and Vermont Square, which saw its reported shoplifting incidents jump from 73 in 2018 to 498 last year.
In 2023, rates were 87% higher in LA than they were in 2019, which is a pretty significant increase. And we know that typically in November and December, there's a lot of reported shoplifting, which makes sense, right? Holiday season, stores, malls are really active. So we do expect that trend to keep going.
The one thing the study didn't look at, why shoplifting rates are on the rise. Is it inflation or increased reporting or a change in the way these crimes are prosecuted? What do you think is driving this increase in this area?
I don't know. I don't know. I see a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of homelessness around.
Shoppers in Westchester, one of the new hotspots for shoplifting, did have their own theories.
You feel like there's no recourse and people are just getting away with so many unfair things. So it's scary. I don't wear jewelry out, nothing showy, because it's not the same LA.
The report also found that in both Chicago and LA, the areas with high reported shoplifting incidents also had higher concentrations of other offenses such as theft and violent crime. And it is important to point out here that these are just the reported incidents. So there are, incidents of shoplifting that may not be reported. Right. Also, people may be reporting it more now because we're seeing, a spike in it. So people are more aware and they feel like it's more important to report it.
Well, I think people are feeling it because you look at the election that just happened with some of the amendments that passed in
right.
terms of
or the change in DA. Mm-hmm.
Correct. So it's one of those things. I think it's something that when you go around and talk to people, they've been feeling this for a while. So to have the data to back it up now is
But it will be interesting to see if the changes in the laws change this.
Yeah.
Or is this driven by our economy and by inflation? Or also we tend to see once one ring gets going, other people see that it's profitable and then they join in. So at the end of the day, we don't know all the reasons that are contributing to this, but it will be interesting to see what changes are now made.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, very eye-opening. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.